There may be these exogenous events or certain actions or decisions that you make that end up sabotaging your financial well-being. You may be a person that is very meticulous. You manage all the inflows and outflows, and you're generally very prudent or frugal when it comes to managing money. You do all the hard work. However, there's always these once-off exogenous events or actions or decisions that are taken with high conviction that end up sabotaging your financial well-being. It's almost like it places a ceiling on your ability to escape this sense of scarcity, to find yourself within this predicament of abundance. But as soon as you're about to break free from that ceiling, something happens that pulls you back down, that keeps you in that state of scarcity, and it undoes a lot of the hard work that you've done. If this situation describes what you've experienced, if it's a repeating pattern in your life, it's something that's continuously taking place, then in this video, I'm going to try and share with you something beyond the mundane concept of why this really happens. And I'm going to create a series of videos to help shift this perspective of money, because this is something that I'm personally navigating at this point in time. And it's something that has been sabotaging my life for a long period of time. Something that I find that I had a very convoluted relationship with money, and something that I would almost say has been programmed within the majority of society based on way in which the matrix system has used money as a means of enslaving people. It's used money as a means of controlling people, and it has distorted our understanding of what money really inherently is. And oftentimes, on a subconscious level, a lot of these beliefs sort of reflect the reality that we experience. And it may not be something that you're experiencing. If I reflect on my own life, and I reflect on my parents' life and their grandparents' life, it's almost like this is a repeating pattern that is taking place not just in one lifetime, but it could be cycles throughout your family histories, like generational belief systems that keep us enslaved until someone takes the steps to break free from this. And that is really what I want to get to with this, to really transform our relationship with money so that we can break free from this enslavement. Because as much as I can say it requires a lot of meticulous action, you may have found yourself where you've gone for all these programs and you've done all the work, you've read all these books, and you do a really good job in terms of managing your money, you're very frugal, and you still can't seem to break free from this trap. All these good behaviors, and it just end up becoming undone, and you don't end up living your life because of this distorted perception of money. If I reflect on my own life, that is the very relationship that I had with money. I was very frugal. I had often behaved in a way in which I confirmed or reinforced that scarcity. I reinforced the scarcity aspect of money. And these beliefs are what inherently end up communicating to the subconscious mind how we perceive money and the reality that we wish to experience. It keeps us within this framework of scarcity. And to break the cycle, it requires a lot of awareness to be able to reflect on it, and also to look at the spiritual component of money. So, as part of the series, I want to address money from a spiritual perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, and really go beyond a lot of the conventional teachings when it comes to managing money, to really go into the depths of it and transform this relationship that we have with money so that we can live this life of abundance and escape the trap that the matrix essentially programs within the vast majority of society. And hence why when you look at society, a vast majority of people generally tend to live within the scarcity framework. And how do we break free from this? How do we get out of this trap? How do we shift our beliefs? How do we start looking at all these nuanced actions, beliefs that have taken over our very programming so that we reinforce scarcity? And that's how we go about breaking the cycle. But essentially what it requires is to transform our relationship with money. What is money? What is it supposed to be? What is the underlying nature of money from a spiritual level as well? Because money has often been perceived as something that is evil or is associated with, rich and powerful people who generally tend to take on a very attitude that is derogatory to everyone that has less than they have, to almost treat them as a means of having their way in life. So it leads the majority to take on the perception that money corrupts. Money has the ability to corrupt people. And yes, it does have the ability to corrupt people, but it leads to a very distorted perception. And as soon as we associate that belief of evil, of corruption, with money, then it tends to distort our subconscious belief about it, and is why a lot of these exogenous events and certain actions that we will take, even though they're made with high conviction, you may do all the research, you may do all the work, and yet you still take these actions, and afterwards you end up realizing that these very actions tend to sabotage your entire financial well-being. And this is essentially what I want to get through with the series. Try and look at all these beliefs, these nuanced perceptions of money, to really transform it. Because what I've come to understand is money is just an energy exchange. At a spiritual level, it's not good, it's not bad, it's not evil, it's not something that is considered something that is very pure either. It's just objective. It's just an energy exchange. And yes, it is being manipulated. If you look at the many forms in which money can take, the fiat money, or what many would call fiat money, is very distorted. And a lot of people already know about how this is being distorted by governments, how it's being excessively inflated, and how it erodes in value. And because of this, we take on this very negative perception of money. And really what it requires is a total shift in our understanding. Yes, it's a medium of exchange. Yes, it's considered an energy exchange, a medium of energy exchange that we use within this current form of reality. But we don't need to be attaching all these other beliefs onto it. See it as what it really is, and slowly start to transform it. And yes, there are purer forms of money. There are forms of money that don't need to be subject to all this manipulation. But we need to really transform this relationship with money in order to be able to receive money and not have these programming overlays that tend to convolute our very perception of it. So hopefully this video has made some sense, or I'm taking you on a path which I'm currently navigating. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as possible so that it's something that resonates with a lot of people, so that it's something relatable, because it's something that I'm personally experiencing. I'm not going to say that I have everything right, but I've read a lot of the mundane books about money, and they haven't really helped in terms of transitioning me out of this framework that tends to constantly sabotage our ability to escape the ceiling, to find ourselves within this situation of abundance. And really what I'm trying to accomplish with this is to try and go as deep as possible, to try and really transform this relationship at its very roots, to go into the metaphysical, to go into the spiritual aspects of it, to really understand money as a medium, as an energy exchange, as a storehold of value? What are those sources that are really going to help preserve it? How do we navigate this in order to lead fulfilling lives? And rather than constantly being threatened by money, how does money interact with the various different facets of our life, like health, well-being? And so the series is going to focus on all these nuanced issues in order to transform our very relationship to money and end up putting us in a position where we can lead more fulfilling lives rather than letting the very medium of exchange compromise that ability to do so. Now, I know that was a lot, and yes, this is the Open Mind Project, so it does require you to bring an open mind whenever you listen to the content that I make. I can't promise that everything is right, and there's definitely the opportunity to challenge a lot of what I say. You can drop it down in the comment section if you disagree. I love to engage in that dialogue because it also helps me sort of break through from my limitations of my understanding, and it's the opportunity to then transform this relationship. So with that, if any of this content resonates with you, please do like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you in my next video.